Epstein files for more than a year now. I mean, he ran on it, promising repeatedly on the campaign trail. But even then, if you listen closely, he was pretty squirrely about it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Phony stuff. The revelations we've seen over the last few months show exactly why he was squirrely about those files, from his lewd 50th birthday book contribution about enigmas never age, to the 20,000 pages of emails that have now been made public and have caused some of the public figures named to run for cover. We are seeing precisely why people have been pushing for transparency. Eric Fudd is an attorney representing 11 victims of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Tara Palmeri is an investigative journalist, the author of The Red Letter on Substack, host of the Tara Palmeri Show, and they join me now. It's good to have you both here. Let me start with you. You've been covering this. They fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought, and then at a certain point, what happened that got us from Lauren Boebert in the Situation Room getting the full treatment from the Attorney General, Deputy General, the head of the FBI, to a 430 vote today?
Basically, the dominoes started to fall last week. Even before the discharge petition was signed, I was hearing from sources that it would be impossible for them to not sign this bill, to vote for this bill if it came to the House floor. You saw that from Congressman Greg Stube. You saw that from Don Bacon. They were already telling their constituents, I'm going to vote for this bill, because the facts are that 90% of their constituents wanted this bill to pass. And there are very few things that 90% of people can agree on. So there was pressure. They wasted a lot of political capital on this for many, many, many months, because ultimately the bill goes to his desk. He signs it, but he controls the DOJ at the end of the day. And we know who is running the DOJ, a woman who said, case closed. There's no Epstein list. Oh, wait, a few months ago, I had an Epstein list. Oh, wait, now we're opening it again, but just to go after the Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. President, yes.
The perps. Yeah. Because there were no perps. It's a complete disaster. And already in the Freedom of Information request that Bloomberg has put forward, they have noticed that Donald Trump's name has already been removed from the files when they are being handed over.
Oh, FOIA files from DOJ, that someone at DOJ is removing Trump's name.
Yes.
Okay, that's something to look for. I want to play for you, Eric, the moment, because I will say, tracking this very closely, I did not think when I woke up this morning that it would be on the president's desk tonight. And partly that's because Mike Johnson, who looks like an absolute doofus.
Totally.
I mean, truly, truly a clown after this whole thing. He was circulating a memo with the 5 things we have to change about it, and talking points about why the bill's bad and it's going to imperil national security. He said, well, I hope the Senate's going to amend it. And Thune was like, no, we'll just unanimous consent it. So I want to show you the moment when, during a vigil of survivors, candlelight vigil, the news came that this, I think, somewhat unexpected, rocket docket had happened where it was going to the Senate under UC. Take a listen.
The Senate has passed the bill under unanimous consent.
You've been representing survivors for a long time. Did you think we would get here?
Honestly, no. And there's still a lot of work to do, right? This was a really, really wonderful moment for the survivors. And, there's been so much momentum and there's been so much push, and they're finally seeing something positive. For years and decades, they've had nothing but being wronged and disappointment and thinking they're going to get justice, and then it's swept under their feet. So this was a really nice moment. I'm still a bit cautious about what's going to happen next with Trump, because, as you said, Trump controls the DOJ. What is actually going to be released? And
this is the big question, right?
It is. And, and I also want to say that, I think, Representative Clay Higgins being the one vote, I thought was really gross. I think he, ought to be ashamed of himself. This was the one moment, as I've said, they've been wronged at every step of the way for decades. And they could have had, you know what, at least Congress is 100% behind us. Then they had to get that one negative vote. And I think that's sort of demoralizing, but still, this is absolutely a victory. But now the real fight has to begin here.
Well, what is the real? I mean, how do you see the next part of this? So we know that Pam Bondi is, in an unprecedented fashion, certainly since Watergate, we've never seen an attorney general who is as much a kind of direct apparatchik of the president.
Absolutely.
And not even hiding it. It's not like behind closed doors, like, yes, sir, thank you, sir, what can I do, in public. He doesn't want to be embarrassed, and he doesn't want people around him to be embarrassed. And he also doesn't want, I don't know what's in those files, frankly.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants whatever. How do you see this playing out in terms of what Bondi, what the DOJ does?
I think, first of all, they are going to spend a lot of time reviewing the files, aka stonewalling them, to protect the innocent. And they'll say it's the victims, the guys of, but it's really the John's third-party perpetrators, the enablers, and just going through the files. And it's going to take a really long time. We know there's over 300 gigabytes. We've only seen 1% of them. They've all been redacted. If you look on the FBI's website right now, it's just redactions, redactions, redactions. I assume there'll be a lot more of that. Based on what we've already seen, freedom of information requests, which any American can do, ask the Department of Justice or any department agency to hand over documents. They've already started redacting the president's name from documents that previously had his name. So they've been working on this all summer already.
Well, that's the thing. When you talk about review, right, Eric, I mean, they have reviewed it. We have, we've got a whistleblower who wrote to the Senate ranking member of the Senate Judiciary, Dick Durbin, to say, it's crazy over here. They got them working in shifts, basically. We know that this has all been reviewed. Do you think there's going to be, how do you think survivors and folks in Congress will react to delay?
I mean, it won't be pretty. I mean, I think they should react the way, they've been handling things so far is fight, keep fighting, keep putting the pressure on. What concerns me is Donald Trump has gone through enormous lengths, enormous time and effort to keep these files private. There has to be a reason. He didn't do that because he enjoys keeping things private. He did that for a reason. No one knows what it is. And my concern is that hasn't changed. And while he has made this 180 to show that he wants to be transparent, I think that's really the result of him seeing the writing on the wall. And now I'm worried about what's going to happen next. Are we actually going to see full transparency, full exposure, full accountability? We never have in decades and decades of investigating Jeffrey Epstein. I'm very cautiously optimistic that we're going to see something. But given what I know and what we all have seen from this administration, how they've handled the Jeffrey Epstein issue, I'm not confident we're going to see full transparency.
Yeah, two areas that I'm particularly interested in. One is the Alex Acosta plea deal. That's the thing that we've never seen any of the files on. We just have no idea what went on at the Department of Justice in that U.S. Attorney's Office to get the deal. The other thing, and Tara, I'd love you to talk about this, is the bizarre international aspect of this.
Right.
I mean, we've got Mohammed bin Salman at a state dinner tonight.
A friend of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, and his father, King Salman. There's pictures of them. Ehud Barak. He was talking to the Russian foreign minister at multiple points.
Sergei Lavrov.
Lavrov. He was moving things between different countries. He was a go-between on a Yemeni peace plan.
They would call that a hyper-fixer in the intelligence world, what he was doing. He was setting people up, and he was useful to intelligence officers. And I actually believe that if these files are revealed, what we will see is a person who was valuable at one point to the state, to the DOJ, whether it's from the Bear Stearns case that he was involved in, the Financial Towers case, the largest Ponzi scheme at that time, $300 million. His partner in that case, Stephen Hoffenberg, went to prison for the rest of his life. And according to Vicky Ward's reporting, he provided prosecutors with evidence 3 times. So I think he might end up being a Whitey Bulger. And that is partially why he has been protected this entire time. And also the crown. I mean, the Brits are an ally, and there was probably pressure to protect Prince Andrew.
I mean, there's a lot. So all of these sort of international aspects, we'll see if the files come out, if they don't get redacted, but that pressure is going to maintain Eric Fudd.
That was another episode of the Tara Palmeri Show. If you like this show, please subscribe, rate it, share it with all your friends. If you want to support my independent journalism and get my exclusive reporting straight to your inbox, go to tarapalmeri.com. That's TARAPALMERI.com. Sign up for my newsletter, The Red Letter. That is how you keep me in business. I want to thank my producer, Eric Abinate, Abby Baker, who does my research and social media, and Adam Stewart on the graphics. See you again tomorrow.